Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Did your opinion on Bristol change at all as a dirt track?
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's more for the general public to decide. But from my seat, it seemed like it was a pretty good race. But this is also one of the best short tracks that we have on the schedule. So, I don't know. Maybe we have 3 Bristol races, and that's probably not likely. But yeah, I'm good either way on it.
And then you win 3 races last year. You make the championship 4. You consistently outrun your more heralded teammates, but yet you probably don't get the spotlight and the shine that they do. Does that ever kind of bother you at all or anything, or do you care?
No. I mean, I'd probably rather it be that way. I really enjoy just driving race cars, and I love driving race cars, and that's fine by me. Maybe if I win a couple more races, I don't know. It's a tough question. Tough question. I don't really have an answer for, but it doesn't bother me.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. Is there a reason that it seemed like all the dirt guys really excelled today compared to the other dirt races here?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the track favored experience on dirt tracks tonight. But at the same, on the same hand, last year, 2 dirt guys were definitely going to run 1-2 if they didn't get, taken out on the last lap. So with that being said, last year was very similar that 2 dirt guys were going to run first and second. But tonight, for sure, the track was very tough and certainly favored the guys that had experience on that style of track.
Evening, Jazz and Sharp with the podium finish. Just 2 questions. So, what are some of the things that your crew chief, Adams brought out of you that you think has kind of sharpened you, made you more keen on everything overall since he's taken over for the number 20 back in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, Adam just has been able to instill confidence in me by giving me fast race cars and cars that I know are going to handle good enough for me. So he's a very probably the best leader that I've ever driven for, and he knows, how to manage the highs and lows of a season, and he definitely can bring out the best in me.
That's great. And then second question, so Toyota as a manufacturer seems to be picking up some momentum in recent weeks between you and Tyler winning. You think that this is potentially a spark or something that will kind of pick up as the season goes?
I hope so. The Chevrolets have been super fast to start out the year, and there was no doubt that we were behind them, but we're in a really good stretch of races for our cars. If you look at Richmond, Bristol Dirt, and then even Martinsville, I would expect us to be really strong at. And then when we get back to the mile and a half, I'm not really sure where we're at. So with that being said, we know that there is room to improve, and hopefully that comes sooner rather than later.
Go to Dustin, Bob, Matt, and then up to Lee. Go ahead.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. You mentioned just this 3-race stretch. What does it mean to get the 4th, to get the win here, to take advantage of these opportunities? I think it's 97 points in 2 races that you've scored so far. Going into Martinsville, obviously, last time you were there, you were the winner.
Yeah, we knew that this was going to be a good stretch of races, and obviously wanted to capitalize on it. But last year through the playoffs, it was just a really big eye-opener of playoff points, how important they are. And, frankly, we didn't have very many of them last year. So the only thing that pays payoff points is race wins and stage wins. So thankfully we've got 5 in the bank now, and we need to get some more.
And how did this track challenge you in a different way tonight?
Yeah, so it was just very technical. It obviously got very slippery, and the cushion up top had speed in it if you could run next to it. But the problem is that if you got over it, you paid a really big penalty and lost a lot of time. And you could get over it with the right rear, and you can get over it with the right front. So it was just a very fine balance of getting the car bent and crooked enough to ride against it without getting your right rear over it, without getting your right front over it. And these things are just they're pretty tough to drive on a dirt track, especially whenever you're trying to drift them around the corner, and you're kind of wrestling a pig out there for however many corners you got.
So is this as good of a race as could possibly be with dirt track and this type of car?
I definitely think that this was the cream of the crop for track conditions, and I don't think that you're going to get any better than that.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. How confident were you were going to win, even if the caution didn't come out? Did you feel like you had enough edge on Tyler that he wouldn't be able to make a move on you?
I was fully committed to block the move, and I'm sure that he would have given me a little friendly bumper, and I don't know, I might have spun out, I might not have spun out, but I was prepared to block the move. Maybe that would have caught him off guard, but I didn't know the yellow flag came out until I had already shown my hand going into turn 3, so it was probably going to be an exciting finish, that's for sure.
Matt Weaver, Motorsports Tribune. You had a pretty good launch there on that last restart, and you'd kind of driven away from Tyler a little bit, but you kind of backed up to him there closer to the finish. Was that you just trying to take care of it, or what was the biggest concern you had in the back of your mind getting closer to the finish?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes both ways, where I'm leading the race and I have everything to lose and nothing to gain, and he has everything to gain and nothing to lose. So for me, I was just trying to make sure that I hit my marks, drive smooth, and not make a mistake that took myself out of it. And I'm sure that he was giving it 110%. So, I think that was the majority of it. Yeah.
What did Reddick say to you after the race when he came up to the car? And just the fact that the kind of respect that you guys have. He didn't get pissed at Briscoe last year where, if it had just been on a traditional short track and somebody had wiped you out, it would have been a whole different can of worms. But, is there that level of respect amongst you guys? And what did he say?
He just said it was going to be interesting if the yellow flag didn't come out. But, obviously he said congratulations, and great day for, both of us to run 1-2.
And you're the last guy to win at Martinsville, so how much confidence does that give you going there next week? And where did you put your grandfather clock?
Yeah, so my grandfather clock is in my dining room, so that's where that sits. But yeah, I feel good about going back to Martinsville. It's going to be certainly different with the low downforce package, but it's different for everybody. And I feel like we were the best car there in the fall, so. We hopefully we can do our homework and make sure to study the differences between Richmond and Phoenix with the low downforce package and what we expect at Martinsville.
You had already moved your winning Chili Bowl car out of the house, right?
Yes, yeah.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take one final question with Kelly up front.
Kelly, CrownRacer.com. Christopher, I wanted to go back to you said there you had showed your hand going into 3 because Tyler had questioned if you knew the caution was out or if that was going to be your defensive move. So what were you going to prepare for had the caution not come out, of knowing he was probably going to try something?
I had kind of been running the slider line through 3 and 4 earlier in the third stage, and I felt like that while I would overall hurt my lap time by doing that, it was going to be a defensive move to block the line where he couldn't, get in there, get beside me, and put me in the fence or whatever he was going to do. And then obviously I was prepared to lose momentum off the corner, but my goal was to, have him not be able to get me before we got to the line. Yeah, yes, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, you just got to, or I was trying to take care of myself and not be put in a vulnerable position.
All right, sounds like we do have one question in the press box. Go ahead.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Christopher, how much pressure does this take off when you race this early in the season, and what does that mean to the rest of your regular season?
Yeah, it definitely takes pressure off, but it doesn't change the end goal. And like I mentioned earlier about the playoff points, that's what we need to start building upon in the regular season, and something that we did a bad job on last year. So with the way that this format is, the only way you score playoff points is by winning stages and winning races. And so, ultimately we need to get to where we can win some more races and win some stages.
All right. We'll take one final question for the third time from Dustin Long. No, I'm kidding.
I apologize. Thank you, Christopher. Hey, I forgot to mention this. With getting the win tonight, that's your 5th win in your first 116 Cup starts. So among active drivers, Brad Keselowski won 8 times in his first 116. Then it's you, and at 4 is Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. And I think you can make the argument that those are future Hall of Famers.
It's pretty cool.
To do what you have done, and obviously you in one sense you were groomed for this, but just because somebody is doesn't mean that they're going to succeed. What does it mean to have more wins than any other active driver in their first 116 starts other than Keselowski, a former champion?
Yeah, I mean that's incredible, and something that I'm, forever grateful to be in the position I am in to drive for a team that's capable of giving me race cars capable of winning. But I try to not look at the stats and focus on the task at hand. So, that is very rewarding to hear, and hopefully I'm not done here.
All right. That was a good question there, Dustin. So we'll let you pass. All right, Christopher, congratulations again on your win this evening.